The cause of death was blunt force trauma as evidenced by the following findings. Number one, there were head injuries, including internal bleeding to the head. Number two, the features of the neck pressure, suggestive of compression strangulations. Number three, multiple superficial injuries on the upper limbs, lower limbs, and trunk. The postmortem was witnessed and documented by the officers from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, the homicide team from DCI, and the DCI forensic experts. Investigations into the matter remains ongoing under the direction of IPOA. The National Police Service remains committed to transparency, accountability, and the protection of human rights. All relevant information and the support are being provided to IPOA to ensure an impartial investigation. Thank you, and I submit. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. I still am continuing with the additional questions that were there. Maybe it will take another, maybe 3-4 minutes. I will be through.
Okay, but because I know you have really a bit addressed, of course, the sequence, the chronology of event, starting from when the complaint was lodged, when the disease was picked up, until his death, and now, of course, to the point of postmortem report. Of course, there are other questions to include, of course, the investigation, and of course the other issue that if there is criminal proceeding, I know IPOA will still address the same. But from this, when you are starting, this is more or less the same thing you issued in Senate yesterday, and it's a few hours that has passed since, and that's whether there is new update, new development, new findings from when you issued this and today, this morning, when you are coming in.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, that matter, that component of investigation is actually being undertaken by IPOA, and I did indicate that we are supporting IPOA fully to enable that it expeditiously discharges that duty. So what I know is that they have continued to record statements from many witnesses or those who are supposed to record, but I'm sure because they will be coming here later, they are going to give on
the Internal Affairs Unit come in, because there could be more suspects or more people who could have played role into the death of this innocent Kenyan, more than the 4 interdicted. And that is why we wanted even the internal units, because they're supposed to go beyond even the 4.
Chair, I would like to confirm that yesterday by the time of the Senate, I'm aware that I could confirm that they had already recorded over 27 statements by then, and additional more are still being recorded. I'm sure by now they have gone.
Affairs Unit, what have they been doing?
The Internal Affairs Unit, they are also looking into that issue, and they are still going to give us however they have gone.
Because I am now almost concluding that deliberate leaving them behind could be telling to something.
Chair, we did not deliberately leave them behind, but we wanted to give total support to IPOA without any interference. Yes, because now we don't want to mix issues. We want to
okay, done, but they will still confirm the same. But we had, of course, they already even interfered with the CCTV footage and the rest, and even probably who knows.
Maybe those who are at one time or the other involved in that, also interfered with the CCTV TV. But I know the experts are also looking at the CCTV from different angles, so that they can also be able to get the same information.
Just proceed. Of course, members will have their time, but I want to say that I'd expected something more deeper, more recent than what you have provided, because it's more or less the same you did in the Senate. Nevertheless, maybe members will let them proceed. And because IG, you know why we are so bothered and concerned? Police custody, cells, prison, whatever, they're supposed to be the safest place, safe haven for even innocent Kenyans and of course suspects. But are Kenyans dying in where they're supposed to be their safest place is very unfortunate and sad. You know, many a times we also know, of course, that our police officer could be doing a good job. But now, if the few rogue ones tarnish their service in this manner, it's something that, of course, as a parent, as a leader, and of course, as a committee that even appropriate your funds and oversee, it's really make us extremely sad. And we don't want any cover-up in any manner. We had promised Parliament and Kenyans that we are going to go so much deep into this, and if it means heads has to roll. Yeah. So members, maybe we allow them. Kapondi?
And going by this brief by the IG, I need clarification on the investigation team that traveled to Kisii. You have indicated, not by name, but just blanket, the investigation team traveled to Kisii to undertake the arrest.
Point of order, Chair. I think, Fred, let them finish.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we are able to interrogate their submission.
Go on. I think you had covered this bit, the chronology, and I think there's still some bit of question you can't cover. I don't know, either yourself or the rest of your team. The internal affairs, are they in? Or that's a different, sorry?
It's the chair.
Almost, so that's another one. You know, he's masked, so I can, who is he? Maybe he can introduce himself.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, good morning. I am Matthew Kuto, the Principal Assistant to the Inspector General.
Go on.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. Mr. Mohammed Amin is going to take us now through actually the questionnaire. We are looking at the questionnaire from question number 4 up to question number 9.
But a written presentation, you can have it circulated to members. This year, do you have a written one?
It's an additional one.
Yeah, additional or what it is.
It's an addition.
So you have it?
Yes, the one.
Okay, fine. Quickly, Sergeant, supply to the members. You can wait for a minute. Please supply to members. Clerk. Supply. If you are ready, you can start.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. I will proceed and tackle a couple of issues. The first one being, what are the procedures and principles guiding arrests based on social media remarks and measures put in place to prevent police brutality? Honorable Chair, I would like to confirm from the outset that the National Police Service adheres to the Constitution and statutory provisions in conducting arrests, including those based on statements made on the social media platforms. And the guiding principles and procedures include the following. An arrest must be executed either through physical contact or the person voluntarily submitting to custody through word or through action. Where a person resists arrest or attempts to flee, police officers are permitted to use reasonable and necessary force to effect that arrest. However, the force applied must at all times be proportionate and justified under the specific circumstance or circumstances. The person being arrested must be properly informed in a language he or she understands of the reason for the arrest, their right to remain silent, and the consequences of choosing not to remain silent. In addition, to remain silent and the consequences of choosing not to remain silent. In addition, arrested individuals have the following rights: to remain silent and not to self-incriminate, to communicate with an advocate of his or her choice and any other person whose assistance is deemed necessary, not to be compelled to make confessions or admissions that may be used against him or her, to be held separately from convicted persons and to be presented before a court of law as soon as reasonably possible, but in any case not later than 24 hours after the arrest or the next court day if outside normal court hours. To be charged or informed of the continued detention at the first court appearance, and to be considered for release on bail or bond unless compelling reasons justify the continued detention of that person. Finally, Honorable Chair, no person shall be remanded for an offense punishable only by a fine or imprisonment not exceeding 6 months. So what are the measures the National Police Service has put in place to prevent police brutality? Honorable Chair, to mitigate incidents of police brutality and excessive force, the following measures have been institutionalized. Enforcement of the 24-hour constitutional requirement to present detainees before a court with supervisory oversight to ensure compliance. Continuous police reforms, including integration of human rights and fundamental freedoms in our police training curricula and service delivery standards. Proposal to install closed-circuit televisions, that is CCTV cameras, in all our police stations, especially at the report offices, the holding cells, and the interrogation rooms, basically now to enhance transparency and preserve evidence. Regular training and sensitization of all our officers on human rights, their legal limitations on police powers, and ethical conduct during the arrest and the detention of any suspect. Mandatory documentation in the occurrence book of any injury sustained by a suspect during or after the arrest. Not only injury, but even complaints. Where a suspect has any complaints to raise, then it would be mandatory for that complaint to be documented in the occurrence book. And ensuring that all arrests done by officers of the National Police Service are lawful, the force used is proportionate and based on sufficient grounds, including obtaining court orders where applicable. Whether the MPS has formally engaged with the family of Mr. Ojwang and the public regarding his death, the father of Albert Ojwang was informed when he visited the station requesting for cash bail. In terms of the available statistics on deaths in police custody over the last 4 months, including details of any ongoing investigations or prosecutions related to custodial deaths, Honorable Chair, in Western, we received one report which was submitted by Kakamega Central Police Station, and the matter was referred to IPO for investigation. In Nyanza, 2 cases. Again, the 2 cases are under investigation by IPOA. Eastern, Honorable Chair, 2 cases, again under investigation both by IPOA. Coast, Honorable Chair, we reported 1, again under investigation by IPOA. Saint Region, 2, again under investigation by IPOA, making a total of 7. So that is all, Honorable Chair, on the measures to prevent police brutality and as well the available statistics. With your permission, Honorable Chair, I will request DIG Masengeri to take you through the measures. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Measures put in place to ensure transparency, accountability, and public confidence in the National Police Service. Honorable Chair, the implementation of the standardized handing over and taking over protocol between outgoing and incoming officers, which includes jointly interviewing all detainees to confirm their status, address grievances, and ensure continuity of care and accountability. Enhanced collaboration with the oversight agencies such as the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, the National Police Commission on Human Rights, the KNCHR, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, to monitor compliance, and investigate abuse. Joint review of National Police Service systems and operations with EACC to identify and seal corruption loopholes within custody and detention processes. Strengthening of internal monitoring and data collection on custodial deaths, injuries or abuses to inform policy intervention, improve oversight on potential complaints and reporting mechanism at station level, including use of toll-free numbers and complaint boxes accessible to detainees and the public. Advocacy for increased budgetary allocation to improve custody facilities and expand technology based on monitoring system. Continuous engagement with the Parliament and other stakeholders to push for legal and policy reforms that enhance detainees' protection, public awareness campaigns, community policing forums, and stakeholder dialogue session to build public trust and promote transparency. The strategies and measures put in place or being developed to prevent occurrence of custodial deaths and safeguard the rights of detainees. Measures put in place, Honorable Chairman and members, is that regular and documented visits to holding cells by officer commanding station, that's the OCS, and duty officers to inspect detainees' conditions, verify custody records, and identify any welfare concerns. Strict enforcement of 24-hour rule on presentation of suspects before a court as required under Article 49 of the Constitution. Designation of custody officers and duty officers responsible for the welfare and safety of detainees while in police custody. Disciplinary and criminal sanctions for misconduct of officers implicated in custodial deaths or excessive use of force. Gender-sensitive and child-friendly custody arrangements, including separate holding areas for women, men, and children, and deployment of female officers for handling cases involving women and vulnerable detainees. Regular inspection and visits of police cells to access hygiene, overcrowding, ventilation, light, and general safety conditions. Investment in and first installation of closed-circuit television, that CCTV cameras, in key areas within police stations, including holding areas, report offices, and interrogation rooms to deter misconduct and aid in preservation of evidence. Honorable Chair, mandatory indication of physical and mental status of suspects prior to booking into cells with any sign of injury or illness noted in the occurrence book and followed up with prompt medical attention. Other measures, Honorable Chair, strengthening of internal accountability mechanism. Establishment of internal oversight units such as Internal Affairs Unit to investigate complaints against police officers. Mandatory reporting of all deaths or injuries occurring in police custody to IPOA and other oversight bodies. Routine visits and inspection of police cells and detention facilities to ensure compliance with detention standards. Capacity building and human rights training. Integration of human rights education, ethics, and use of force protocols in police training curricula. Regular sensitization workshops on the rights of the arrested persons, especially vulnerable groups such as juvenile, women, and persons with disability. Training officers on non-coercive investigation techniques and alternative to custodial detentions. Policy and legal reforms. enforcement of the National Police Service Act and adherence to 6th schedule on the treatment of detained persons. Honorable Chair, lastly is the enhanced collaboration with oversight and civil society bodies, strengthening partnership with the Independent Oversight Authority, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and other stakeholders. Prompt cooperation with external investigations into custodial deaths and complaints of abuse. Lastly, Honorable Chair members, engagement in public forums and awareness campaign to build trust and transparency. Honorable Chair, I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. That is the report that we would wish to submit to this committee. Thank you.
Members, that is a submission by IG and his team, and I would like to have a bit of time to take question, clarification from members, and we are going to start with Kapondi. You know, he did ask some question, that we step him down. Then Buirosa, let's have a blend, a mixed Kapondi, Buirosa, then we go to Ngilechei and Sigei, then we go to the other round. And kindly members, let's try to be precise and to the point.
Yeah, Chairman,
yes.
I'm going to be very precise. What the clarification I need to get from the IG, the officers who went to effect the arrest by names, because what you have just indicated here is a team of officers that went. What are their names? And then secondly, on arrival, you have indicated here that Chief Inspector Talam, the officer commanding station, was conducted by a mobile number and authorized the booking. So who conducted Chief Inspector Talam? And finally, on measures put in place, what Masengela has presented here, that there is mandatory indication of the physical and mental status of suspect prior to booking into cells. The late, before he was booked, was his condition confirmed that he was fit for booking or otherwise? Thank you.
Buirosa, but as Bui asked, IG, in your presentation there's a bit of some confusion on when the suspect was picked from Homa Bay, whether it's a Friday or a Saturday, because the father's story is that to him it was picked on Friday, and you seems to be giving a different narrative. So you need to come clean on that, and even to include the OB, if you can provide from Mawengo police station. So you can note that, as you also note the rest of the members' questions. So you need to come clean on that bit. There's a missing link. So next, Buirosa, very good. And before then, we have some members who have joined us. Maybe quickly we can allow them go on record.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I'm Honorable Alado George, Nairobi MP, Makadara, friend of the committee. Thank you.
I'm Peter Francis Masara, MP Sona West, member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, at the onset of this very unfortunate incident, the IG had publicly and confidently told the nation that the deceased had actually taken his own life by hitting his head against the wall. I think that was discredited by the results of the autopsy. I'd like to ask the IG, given that you came out to talk to the public to give a report that was highly discredited by the results of that autopsy, give this committee and Kenyans the reason and the confidence to believe that what you are now telling us is true and that they can believe it. My question number 2. You have clearly indicated that when Kevin Moindi was questioned, he provided a statement and disclosed 4 other individuals, Albert Ojwang being one of the 4. Albert Ojwang is now dead. Can you tell us the status of the other 3 people who were mentioned alongside Albert? Where are they? How did you handle them? What became of them? And these are Dorcas Mawio, Douglas Marigiri, and Peter Mbugwa. Give us the status of those 3 other people who were mentioned alongside the deceased. I want to say that the initial complainant to this case was the Deputy IG, Mr. Eliud Lagat, who obviously is in charge of the Kenya Police Service. All the names that you've given us of people being questioned are still under the said officer. Being that you're the IG, don't you think that for more effective interrogation or investigation to go on, it would be better if the DIG in charge of the Kenya Police Service, Mr. Eliud Lagat, either steps aside or resigns, so that the people or the officers that are being interrogated do not in any way feel intimidated, and so that the investigations that are currently being carried out can go on effectively. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I want to ask the IG. They said after Albert Ojwang was booked at the Central Police Station, Ms. C.I. Talam was contacted via the number given. Who contacted him? On which number? Number 2, in the early morning of 8th June 2025, it was reported by the officer manning station that Mr. Albert Ojwang was found unconscious. The name of the officer manning the station be provided, please. And again, in the standing orders of the police, when somebody is booked at the cell, would I know the other suspects who were put together with the late Albert Ojwang? How many were they? Are their names known? And the offenses that had made the suspects being brought to the cell, so that we know if Albert was alone in the cell or they were other people together in the cell. The last question is, there is the interdiction of the officers commanding station. The officers who are already been interdicted, that is the OCS, the duty officer, the cell sentry on duty, and all the officers who are there on duty. Was there suspension based on already an ongoing investigation? Is there evidence that incriminates them, or they were being suspended to pave way for investigation? Thank you.
Chair, first of all, I want to say this is a weighty matter, and
It's causing a lot of anxiety in the country. I wanted to ask Chair on the investigation of this matter, on what was in the X. Was it discussed, because there are several of these issues on social media, was it discussed as in an office that required that urgent arrest of this man in Homa Bay and brought to Nairobi? That's one question. Was it that urgent that he brought to Nairobi? Number two, you have said in your report that CCTVs are supposed to be in all these places. In the report offices, holding cells, interrogation rooms, for transparency. I don't know, because the problem we have here, and it's very serious, about the death of Albert Ojwang. Can we, because for us to trace how you came from Narok to Nairobi Central Police Station, we need to have CCTV footage, if it works in the police station, so that we know what really happened until he died, because that is the real issue which we want to know. Thank you.
So you can first respond to the main question from the 4 members. Of course, the question I did ask clarity on exact date that the deceased was picked, because it's not adding up from what the father reported. Reminding you again, your team from Internal Affairs Unit has not. Oh, they're in.
They're here.
Who is he?
Honorable Chair, honorable members, good morning. My name is Barasa, representing the Director, Internal Affairs Unit.
Why I had to take you all this time to come, and we did instruct that to accompany your boss?
I wish to apologize, Honorable Chair. I just got the notification a few minutes ago to join the group that had already assembled here.
Anyway, we give you benefit of doubt. Nevertheless, go on, Naji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members. First of all, I want to take this opportunity and thank this committee, and because these are important questions. Out of these questions, even out of these questions, they are also going to help us improve even on our standard operating procedures. So this is something that is good for us. And from here, we are all of us going to answer these questions with the clarity that is required, because as an organization, that is the National Police Service, we want to know those who committed these offenses, and we want to see them before a court of law and appropriate measures taken by a court. Because the National Police Service does not study for this. Police cells are safe custodies. They are safe custodies where those who have been found in any way to have contravened the laws are taken to await their day before a court of law. They are not holding facilities where suspects lose their lives. That's the reason why we want to get to know who are these who committed this heinous crime. Now, to go straight to the question that was asked by Honorable Kapodi. The officers who went to arrest the suspects by their names, Mr. Mohammed. So these ones, we are getting the correct names.